And we're back from a 1-week hiatus for 4 and Friday, as Thomas and I are back for an exciting Saturday of racing at Newmarket. Tom, what is this weekend all about at the English track?
Group races, apparently. And I wouldn't rule out seeing one or two of these horses show up at the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, I know. That's just a couple of weeks away. Of course, we do have availability over, you can already pre-order over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, the Breeder Cup wagering guide information. New subscribers will get that. Free track today is Delta Downs tonight. There is a link in the description on YouTube. Kindly use that. When the show is over, we'll post all of our picks for tomorrow at Newmarket right here. Tom's analysis, my analysis, a race replay from YouTube will be there. If you like what you see, there's a tip jar within the description on YouTube. Kindly hit us up there. Cup of coffee, glass of wine for Tom, some Mountain Dew for me. You know, those sort of things. We'd greatly appreciate that. Another good way to help the show. Winter's coming, folks. Get yourself a Horse Racing Today sweatshirt. 20% off for orders $70 or more, so you can look great, save a few bucks, or if things go the way they usually go on 4 and Fridays, we'll pay for it with our picks, Tom. At least that's the goal, right?
Well, we cross our fingers and legs and whatever else we can cross, and we do the best we can.
Yes, indeed. We do try, indeed. Well, right now the track is rated as good at Newmarket, Tom, and for whatever reason, my computer's not working. Am I frozen? I am frozen. Yes, indeed.
You're frozen.
Have I unfroze?
No.
Not yet, huh?
Yeah,
but you can hear me.
Weird look on your face.
Yeah, that's the Exorcist look, Thomas. But you can hear me, but you can't see me, huh? I'm John Cena.
Yeah, you're fine live and in color, but there you go.
There we go.
Now you're on.
I'm sort of back. There we go.
The buffering isn't working well enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, John Cena. Right now, the track is listed as good. It's not supposed to rain today. It's supposed to get sunny tomorrow. So do you see any reason why that track rating would change?
I handicap for a good surface. It'll definitely not be firm because we've had some moisture around the Raleigh or the Raleigh course. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with that. It spends a lot of those Delta Downs. You do get some really nice superfectas there. That's part of the work that I'm doing too. Just, Private Ross, I always mention some of the stuff that's going on. I'm doing, as well as a lot of analysis on the horses themselves and the tracks and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually doing money pool analysis, so we can figure out which betting pools at which tracks makes the most sense to wager in. And there's no sense in betting in a wagering pool that only has $300 in it. We're going to get none of that, Thomas, at Newmarket.
No, we generally get pretty good stuff in here.
Yes, we're going to start off with the 2 Darn Hot. I don't think that'll be the case on Saturday, but Darley Stakes is 1 mile and 1 furlong. And let's take a look at that new 1 mile, 1 furlong is going to start right about here. Is that just a straight race, Tom?
Yeah.
That's a long straight race right there.
Well, and it's up and down too, so keep that in mind.
So it looks like the race is going to start one of the lowest points of the track and then kind of ascend away to the finish line. So in these, there's only 6 horses, so they're really not going to probably break up, Tom, I would imagine.
Unless somebody wants the far rail or something, or the near rail, the gate is going to be in the center, so I can't see it. I think they'll all stay down the middle. Since this is the first race of the day, we don't really have much to go on.
We will afterwards. So
I hope so.
Without much to go on, Thomas, who should you go for?
Well, I'm going to start with the favorite, number 4, Damas. He had a terrible race in the Epsom Derby and then came back out and won at Deauville in a listed race. Gosden, he generally does okay. He's placed before in group races. So he'll be the favorite. And I think he's the one to beat. 5, Gladys is going to be the next choice. Ran 4th last time at York after winning 2 in a row. I think this is a nice chance to win a group race, but I also can see this horse easily running in the money again, and it has run well. And finally, we end up on the one horse, which is First Conquest. He really didn't finish very well at Haydock last time out. He's run well a couple times this season in Dubai, and then I'm going to go with that Buick factor. Maybe this because when he's ridden him before, he's won. He hasn't been on him in a while. Well, like I said with the other horse, he generally know how to win.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to drop off down one horse. Start off at 7-1. His odds are slowly moving down in Liberty Lane. If you look at all the horse races at this distance at Newmarket, he's posted the fastest time. Rerun that race. And if it's the fastest time again, you know where that puts him, Thomas?
Last.
Probably where he ought to be. Gladius is my next choice in there. This horse has won 3 times. 2 of them, Thomas, came in what you would consider a first-up affair, its debut, and then the only other time the horse came off a break. So maybe one of these horses that runs well when rested. And then finally, First Conquest, the one horse. I don't have the favorite in my picks. I only get 3 because there's only 6 horses in here. When you look at the race ratings of the races these horses have all competed in and then look at where they've won, this one has the highest race rating win. So this is probably the lightest company it has seen in a while. Let's see if the predictor agrees with anything I had to say. Looks like you got a complete winner. Liberty Lane. How about that, Thomas? And then Gladys. Woohoo!
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing good today. I love me some predictor. Yes. It's usually my nemesis. Today, it's my love. Off to race number 2 we go. We're covering the first 5 races. The second of which is 1 mile and 2 furlongs, so 1.25 miles. The Night of Thunder Zetland Stakes. It's a Group 3. So if we take a look at the map here again, 1 mile and furlong. They're going to start right here again, right? Boom, 1.25 miles. And they're going to make their way up the track, right to the finish line. I would imagine much like the opener, since it's a straight run, you'll probably in a shorter field kind of all stay bunched up together, Tom, and try to figure out who's the fastest in a straight line. And according to your analysis, who is the fastest in a straight line at 1.25 miles?
I'm going to start with 4. Look to the stars. Last race, he came out. He was sweating heavily. He looked awful. He went off the favorite and won. So looks doesn't necessarily mean. That's pretty darn good for a 2-year-old. His other win was on the all-weather. I think adding distance it only can help him, and don't see any reason why it won't. I'm going to go 6, Mr. Colonel, my next choice. He's run second twice in Maiden Novice. He definitely wants distance. There's no question about it. He just missed by a neck in both races. He's bred for the distance, and I'm going to take a roll of dice with those odds. And finally, I'm going to take number 1, Aligricius. I guess. I don't know. Sounds good.
Sounds
front
good.
O'Sheen's going to make a sensible pace, I hope, because he's been outfinished at 1 or 2 times on the lead, but really he generally hangs around and gets on the board. So that's what I think he's going to do.
I'm going to start a little somewhere else. Pierre Bonnard. If that's right. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, good enough. This one does have the best win on the card for trainer Adam O'Brien and Christophe Soumier. I think that's how you pronounce that. Here I would call it Soumillion.
Soumillon.
And then after that,
he's the replacement for Ryan Moore, who broke his leg.
Oh no, good. Hopefully for Ryan Moore. Well, when they want you to have good luck, I guess. Did he have good luck in breaking his leg?
I don't think, because he's missing all these mounts.
Right, to break a leg, right? Anyway,
so
he went out and literally did it.
Christine Soumillon to ride the number 1 top, and Wayne Lauren's generally the number 2 rider.
Well, my number 2 pick is Endorsement. It's the 3 horse in there, Thomas. It's the first time in this horse's short career that it's making 2 starts in a row. That means a boom or a bust race is coming. It looks like the bettors, as the favorite at the moment, are expecting the boom and not the bust. You mentioned Look to the Stars, number 4, the combination of Godolphin, Appleby, and Buick. We've heard that many times before, make its way to the winner's circle in Europe and, of course, here in the States as well. So aside from that, what else do you need to know other than it was Tom's first pick? And then I like that long shot too, Tom. Mr. Colonel. I don't know what's going on. If we both like him, we probably don't get 22-1. But this guy's just a pair of necks from being undefeated in 2 races. So I think 22-1 for a horse that kind of knows where the finish line is. It's probably a little bit too much of a value to overlook.
Here's the kind of want more distance. I think that's because he does come a little bit late.
Maybe in a straight race with everything in front of him, he will figure it out. Looks like it's going to be very competitive, but bam, Look to the Stars is your champion, Tom's top pick. And then Del Maro, a horse that neither of us mentioned, at 20-1. Looks like the longest shot, according to the predictor, with the best of chances. On to race 3 is the next on our itinerary. This one is the 1 mile Emirates Autumn Stakes. It's a Group 3 again. We've already kind of established that they're just going to run straight down a line in here, Thomas. Really not the deepest fields for what we're used to, shorter fields, although the last race, 21 horses will make up for all of that. And if I remember correctly, this is one where there's a lot of horses that are making their second, maybe third start. Pretty young stuff in here, right?
Yeah, these are young horses. As I said, this is more of a, they do well here. Will you see it in the Breeders' Cup? Well, certainly in Aidan O'Brien horse, very likely. Gosden's, possibly. Godolphin, definitely. And then the rest of them, you never know.
So who do you believe is going to win?
I'll start with 7, straight up. Ran a really strong race last time out on the heavy going at 7 furlongs. Adds a furlong today in Simeon, and I think he's going to win again. And certainly that combination is not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take 6, Pathian, my next choice. This horse won on the soft going at Doncaster last time out at 28-1, and he won it over some horses that have actually looked pretty good since. So that race looks like it may be pretty strong. He's a first-year sire is St. Mark's Basilica.
Oh, yes.
His offspring have been winning group races. So
does that shock you?
One's a decent one. Could be a decent one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we're going to go with number 2, Archer's Royal, my final choice. One was first start on the all-weather, then ran third in a Group 3 race at Newmarket. The best way to describe the race was the winner blew by them all, coming from back of the field. And this horse kept going. And I think the added distance will help. And if it holds together, it should have a nice race.
Well, I'm hoping that Hank Kalaw has a nice race, and I'm sure the owners are as well. They paid a cool 7 figures for this guy. Nose away from winning both races. The only question for me is the extra distance. And the way this race sets up, will come into play in just a minute, but going through and just kind of mapping out where they like to be on the track, it's just a ton of speed, I feel like, in this game. Number 1, Al Zanati is my second choice. Again, Godolphin. Again, Buick. Again, Appleby. What else do you need to know? Archer Royal, the 2 horses, my third choice. Just about all of the rest, as I pointed out already, are speed horses. This is a closer in the field, Thomas. Getting more distance, I think, as you pointed out, could be beneficial, especially if everybody just goes and burns out front. And then finally, I like the long shot too. Pathian is my top choice. You mentioned that it ran well against horses that came back and ran well. That's not surprising because when you look through the class ratings of all the races that these horses have run in, this one won the highest rated race and did so in its debut. So maybe this is actually a step down in competition. We'll find out. We'll see if the predictor thinks it's a step down or step up in competition right about now. And it says Hankalo, the $1 million horse, will start to make back some of that money. Then Archer Royal. And then it looks like Pantheon, Glacius, and Straight Up Do You Love Me are going to be fighting out for that Shodo. 2 races to go, Thomas, for this week, as we always do 5. That means if we go from 3, the math says we should go to race 4 now. And race 4 is the Darley Dewhurst Stakes. 7 furlongs, so they're continuing to shorten up a little bit right here. I imagine it's less of an incline up that hill because you're not as close to the bottom point. That being considered, Thomas, would you put a little bit more emphasis on front running speed, being close to the pace, or it doesn't really matter?
I'm going to go with watch the earlier races.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I think there's some decent speed in here, but this is a Group 1, so we've been looking at Group 3s and that. I think we're going to get a little idea of what's happening some of those earlier races on where tactically they're going to place these horses. And again, as you said, these fields are not huge.
No. So. This one's a little bit bigger, though, 9 horses, so you get a little bit more to choose from. And where did you decide to plant your flag?
I start with number 1, El Parisian. Wanted both his starts on the good to firm going and then one on the yielding. Really, he's going to add a little more distance, and he looks pretty good, and he's undefeated. Number 2, Distant Storm, my next choice. He's won one of his 3 races. And the reasoning was when interviewed after the race, the jockey said he ran too freely. Well, guess what? They're 2-year-olds. They do whatever they damn well want to do sometimes. And he did. He won both the races he won impressively, and one of them was a maiden at Newmarket. So he's got some experience over the course. And finally, I'm going to take the 9, Zetland Stakes. I think. This one's undefeated in 4 races and won a Group 3. Adds distance. I think this may be a good little sneaker, even though the odds, as you see, are drifting. But I think it's good enough to hit the board, and that's where I'm going to put it.
Well, I think if it's good enough to win 4 out of 4, Thomas, it's good enough to be on your picks for sure. And as I can't remember where it was. I'm sure you recall when the announcer said you just don't know how good a horse is until it loses. Well, this horse hasn't lost, so we do not know how good Zavateri is. We will find out Saturday at about 10 a.m. Eastern time, probably 10:01. Number 2, Distant Storm is next up on my list, a horse that you like as well, Tom. Looks like right now the one that the bettors favor. Guess what, Thomas? William Buick, Charles Appleby, Godolphin. But what's interesting about this horse so far in its limited career, it's shown some great versatility. It's won from the front and looks like it can win from the back. I like that.
And if it wins here, I think you'll see it in the Breeders' Cup.
Good place to go next, a couple of weeks away. And of course, we will, Thomas and I, preview all the international horses. So you make sure you subscribe right here, Horse Racing Radar TV. Or if you're watching on X, make sure you hit the follow button there as well. Because you're not going to want to miss the Breeders' Cup international previews. Thomas and I will make our way through all of the horses that are coming from all over the world and tell you which ones we like. And then finally, which might be your list of horses to avoid, Gstaad is the final choice for me. This one is a head and neck away from being undefeated in 4, like the 9 horse. So just a little bit more oomph at the end, or a little more oomph at the beginning. Wherever it needs more oomph, if it can find it, just get that extra neck and nose. It could be another winner. Looking at the predictor for this one, looks like we got a clear winner again. Zavateri, the undefeated 9, then Gstaad, then Distant Storm, Giwan, Pacific Avenue, and Alparslan. There you go. 1 race to go for you and I, Thomas. That's race number 5. Any preliminary thoughts on what might be on tap for next week's version of Foreign Friday?
It's very easy. Ascot.
There you go.
For the British Champions Day. So basically, card of Group 1 races.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's not preliminary. It's final. That's the way we like it. This one is the big field. 21 horses, Thomas. You see right there. That's the maximum 32.
Yeah, but that's not the maximum. Look at the maximum number.
32. I'm glad they didn't go 32. I still might be handicapped.
Especially with this distance.
Yeah, 2 miles and 2 furlongs. So 2.25 miles. They're going to start here, almost at the height of the track. It looks like they're going to run downhill, hit that turn, and then with that turn being the bottom of the track and then go back up. That's got to be an interesting sort of turn, Tom, because you got all that downward momentum, and then you're turning, and then you're moving upward with your momentum. So is there a strategic place to be? Do you want to be on the inside of that turn, a little bit more on the outside, so you don't get kind of cut off? Where would you like to see your horse?
I like to see my horse tucked in behind the leaders and get that first run, so to speak, on the inside. So the far rail.
All right. So with that being in mind, who's going to be on side and make that turn and sprint on home for the next mile uphill?
Yeah, really. 10, Fireblade to start with. He's with the leaders last in his last race and finished ahead behind them at third place. He's won earlier this season at Ascot at distance. Overall, he's really run some good races, and he started class 4 early this season and but now racing class 2. So consistently improving. And I think he just needs a little more improvement. And I think you'll get a nice payday with this one.
Yeah, 33-1 right now.
Yeah. And take number 8, which is last year's winner, Alfonso El Grande. I think he's getting better. He's only had 3 races this season. The last one was 5th after some efforts, but again, rounding to form, won this race before. He did it from a wide draw, which he's got again. Last year, I think he had 19. So he gets the job. He got it done once. There's no reason why he couldn't do it again. And 11, Nawai, I think. I don't know. Any ideas?
I would say Nawi.
Nawi, I'll go with that. He finished last of 24 in this race last year. But he's won over the hurdles in July. He ran a decent race at Chester, where he finished 4th. He was the favorite in that race. So he's been running a little better. But again, I'm going for prices because that's the kind of horse race where you never know. Well, distance is not an issue because they're obviously running over hurdles. They can run. And Gordon Elliott places horses usually pretty well to get some money. And this is a nice race because if you look at that purse for a class 2 bunch in the Heritage Handicap, this is good money.
What's the favorite in this race? 7-1? Is that the lowest odds right there? 7-1?
I think 7
9-1, 8-1, 8-1. Yeah, 7-1 looks like that's the favorite.
Yeah, well,
you're going to get 16
winner. This one you're going to get paid. Period.
Yeah, you hit the exacta or trifecta. Maybe you're going to get a car payment.
A good payment.
I'm going to start off with number 9 as my first pick. Belair Bayai, or something along those lines. I love the names. But I think, I love the fact that this horse is getting a little bit of extra distance. I do feel like it can help. And then just looking through the comment from its last race, it said swift at the end. So maybe that horse is coming into top form, and it has found its stride before at Newmarket, where it has a win in 1 try. So maybe a horse that's coming into form for the course. Number 7, Man's X-Man. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
If you look at any of his 2-mile plus turf races, I think really a repeat of any of them would probably be good enough to win. So he's pretty consistent. Number 9, oh boy, Belgravian. I think I got that one right. 19. 10-1. Really not much action, it looks like. Maybe 1 bet because everybody else has got like their lines moving around. So maybe after this it'll change. But this guy's been on turf 7 times, won 4 of them, and has a 2nd and a 3rd. So 6 out of 7 in the money on the turf. He's got 1 tip. So one other smart guy out there. And then I'm going to go to the top of the ticket, number 1. I feel like you could probably pick any of the other remaining 18 horses and still have a good shot. But I'm going to go High Pop de Lorey. As I mentioned, a lot of other horses can go here, but the reason I gave this one the nod is it does look like it has some versatility. Like it can run from the front, it can run from the middle, it can run from the back. And in a deep field, sometimes you find yourself in trouble. And if you don't get your preferred running style, the race could be over before it starts. In this case, this horse will have a chance no matter where it is on the track. At least that's my opinion.
And it's getting heavily penalized for doing well because it does carry the top weight.
And that means that observers think that the horse might be the best one in the race. And according to, boom, Max X-Man. How about that, Tom? Pulling that one out of the rear. Belgravian. Hip Hop Dilla. I love me some predictor today, Thomas. It almost as this I used the predictor to make my picks.
I think you did.
Yeah. Well, whenever I do, I have a horrible weekend. So I avoid it at all costs. Again, just a little bit, sometime before the racing tonight, sometime I'll put up the all of Thomas's comments, all of my comments, as well as a replay of the show at horseracingtoday.net. I will timestamp all of the races within the description on YouTube, so you can come back and watch them individually. Again, if you haven't done so, kindly share our content with folks. Subscribe, like, follow, all that kind of good stuff. Any sort of interactivity helps boost our search engine scores. So when others are looking for horse racing content, there's a good chance to find Tom and I and our smiling faces and funny jokes for Foreign Friday. We greatly appreciate that. Again, next weekend, hi, Private Ross. How are you? See, have a good weekend. We will be doing Ascot for the British Championships. That should be a lot of fun competition there, Thomas. Free picks. Get yourself set up for the Breeders' Cup and get yourself set up for the winter with a nice hoodie at Horse Racing Today web store. Any final thoughts from you, Tom, before we get out of here and you start to light some candles so that your brewers can take out the Cubs?
Well, I mean, except for that last race, and I think we could see some very short prices.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that last race, there are no short prices. So,
no, not one.
So
like I said, if you can find the winner, you're going to get a nice payday.
Yeah, you're guaranteed.
If you can find the exactor, you're going to even do better.
Yeah, you hit that trifecta. Look out. You might not see you next week, but if you hit the trifecta or one of us hits the trifecta in that last race, make sure you hit up that tip jar as a form of thank you to help me get a Mountain Dew and Thomas a glass of wine or whatever his favorite beverage is. All right, folks, that wraps it up for this week of Foreign Friday. Again, thanks for joining us as always. We hope that no matter what you're doing, till we meet again on Monday for Parks with Terry Hollywood Hay, we certainly hope that all of your endeavors are filled with God's grace, God's favor, and everything ends up in
the winner's enclosure.
Indeed. We'll see you in the winner's enclosure. Until then, have a blessed day.